For those of you long-time listeners, you know what a big deal I think the 4680 batteries are, and how I like to pay close attention to any movement we see in progress with these batteries, along with any other information we get about Tesla's batteries. And for those of you who've watched almost any of my videos, you know that I think winning in the EV industry is all about batteries. Yet so many people keep telling me things like how much nicer the Hyundai Ioniq 5 looks, or how much cheaper the Ford Mach-E is than Tesla. Well, as for the people who like to remind me this, they do not have an understanding of this industry yet. They simply don't get it. And if they don't get it or understand it enough, then it becomes a lot harder to buy shares in Tesla, or as many, or are less willing to make certain sacrifices in order to buy more Tesla shares. And if you're planning to retire through Tesla with perhaps an extra $1 million or so in shares, then you'll likely need to buy around $100,000 of shares. That's a lot of money. It's a big number for most people, and tough transferring that much money and then to press the buy button. You need to have the confidence and belief in helping you with your conviction. Okay, sure, there are some people who just have blind faith and buy shares anyway, and others who have more of a gambling attitude, and these people do get lucky. Whereas some investors just have Tesla as part of their portfolio and are not all in on Tesla, as we say. But the more conviction some of these investors get, then they often sell other shares to buy more Tesla, as the more they realize the opportunity with Tesla far outweighs that of even Apple. I research, analyze, and relay how I see things, and as many of you agree with me, it's all about the batteries. For example, you can't have a fast food burger restaurant without any meat. Doesn't matter how much nicer your burgers are if you can't make enough for your customers. Just like you can't have an EV company without batteries. No matter how many great features you offer. Oh, also, you can't sell burgers forever if you lose money on each one either. Anyway, this seems to be tough for some people to understand, but it doesn't stop it being true. Now, continuing with what we're saying about keeping an eye on what's happening with 4680 batteries, well, it would appear we've just had a pretty major update as of recent. If you recall, back in early November, we saw containers being delivered on site to Texas with anode line 1 written on them. We assumed that this was for 4680 line in Texas, and that Tesla would start building their 4680 battery line on site already, rather than building a custom fab later on. In other words, the 4680 line was starting construction very soon. And now, after about 6 weeks later, we're seeing what looks like this 4680 production equipment being installed in the factory already. This company really is not messing around. Now, I say how important it is to watch production of the 4680 batteries, but production of the machines that make the 4680 production is also incredibly important. We are now witnessing how long it takes Tesla to set up their 4680 production lines. However, I don't believe we know where all these machines were actually built in the first place before arriving on site, or how long they took to produce either. This would be good to know, then we can establish just how quickly Tesla can set up new battery production lines. Imagine if Tesla one day had a production line that made these battery production lines, and Tesla could just make more and more battery production lines as fast as possible, or perhaps somewhere in between. It's going to be great to see it all in action too, and we hopefully get to see how many people it takes to manage the lines. I'm surprised Tesla let us see in through the windows, and they weren't tinted. Maybe that will change. We might also get to see how many staff it takes to manage the lines when they're up and running. If it doesn't require too many people, then that's going to be a big deal too. Obviously, it would be great to know the yield this 4680 line will produce, and I'm guessing within time, we'll gather enough data to draw some assumptions of a rough idea. With all of that, then we will have some idea of how quickly Tesla can get more battery lines up and running and how many batteries each line will produce. From there, we'll be able to rinse and repeat. On the other hand, it will only be Texas and Berlin lines using 4680, so Tesla only need enough to keep up with the ramping up of the vehicle lines. I wonder if Tesla ramp up the batteries or the vehicles at a faster rate. People often like to talk about supply issues. Have Tesla secured enough of the raw materials or elements like lithium, graphite, or nickel? But don't you think Tesla saw this coming a long time ago? Don't you think that Tesla might have run some numbers like we all have and see they have the potential to make hundreds of billions of dollars in profit every year? Don't you think that due to said potential, they might have done everything they could to have secured all the necessary elements down from the actual mine? I would say that would be likely. Therefore, the rate at which Tesla can produce batteries is likely going to come down to how quickly they can set up more of the production lines, hence why this is such a big deal. But we don't need that many 4680 batteries yet. It's LFP batteries that we really need. The battery production lines for these are going to be insane. I think Tesla will be able to ramp up their LFP lines even faster than 4680. Obviously, Tesla have learned so much about battery production lines since, which will be helpful, but look how fast CATL are ramping up their LFP battery production. compared to, say, LG or SKI's nickel-based battery lines. It would appear it is much easier to manufacture LFP, so much so that even BYD managed to create their own in-house LFP batteries. I know when the stock price drops 20% or so, we feel like we've lost so much and we should have sold some shares at the high. What were we thinking? And now it's low again and feels like it won't recover, and then there's bad news or delays or Elon tweeting and FUD on top of that to make it even worse. But like I say, this company has not even gotten started. It has not even started making its main core product, batteries. Okay, well, they have been making batteries for perhaps about a year and a half or so at Cato Road, which used to be codenamed Roadrunner, but they're not yet being used in their products. And just think how Tesla have been refining and perfecting the production line over that time, and who knows how long they were testing in the lab before that. Battery Day was well over a year ago, and look at the level we saw they were at then. Do you think there's a chance these production lines are moving at an even faster rate today? We haven't seen anything yet. And can you imagine what batteries they are testing in the lab now? Obviously, they must have some pretty amazing LFP batteries at the lab stage already, with outstanding density. And if you think Tesla has barely gotten started yet with their 4680 batteries, well, the LFP batteries are going to be over 80% of the batteries they produce, according to Elon. Personally, I think it might be more like 90%. Okay, so do you understand? Tesla have barely begun. Their core product is going to be batteries. Batteries are going to be in all their product. Vehicles, energy storage, robotaxis, humanoid robots. Tesla are not even making their 4680 batteries in their vehicles yet, let alone begun any major ramping up of 4680s. Then Tesla will create over 5 to 10 times as many LFP batteries as these 4680 batteries. This is what we have been told by Elon. He said he expects 2/3 of vehicles to be made with LFP and all of energy storage. And we expect about as many batteries for energy as we do in vehicles, as we were told in Battery Day. Therefore, if 1/3 of batteries are 4680 in vehicles and only half of the batteries made are for vehicles, well, 1/2 of 1/3 is 1/6 of all batteries will be nickel-based, implying 83% of batteries will be LFP. But I think 80% of vehicles are more likely to be LFP, given how popular the compact versions will be. Right, talking about Tesla barely getting started, we haven't even been shown a reveal of the biggest selling car yet, the compact. EV companies take a really long time to get going, hence why Tesla still has such a huge lead, and will for some time. Rivian isn't even expected to catch up with where Tesla are now in vehicles produced by 2030, and Ford not by 2025, investing over $30 billion to achieve that. And then it's really unlikely that Ford will hit that target anyway. Although Jim Farley, the CEO, is definitely starting to come around a bit more about electric cars. Anyway, here it is. In these images, we are witnessing the start of the production lines in their factories. We are only at the inception of Tesla's batteries. This is huge. This is what we have been waiting for so long. Tesla to make their own batteries and no longer be constrained by third-party battery manufacturers, and that Tesla can go at Tesla speed, with batteries that can be produced so much quicker and at such lower cost. I can even remember back in the day when the Maxwell Technologies deal was announced and went through, how exciting that was, as it meant there was a really high chance that Tesla were going to make their own in-house batteries. And then Battery Day showed us so much, but Tesla has grown significantly since Battery Day as well. We don't know what other advances or step changes that Tesla may have come up with since then. I know we're all chomping at the bit to wait until we finally get to see some of these 4680 batteries. We're getting there. Things are happening, but this is not an industry that moves at a particularly fast pace. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.